The complete evolution of the Megalodon. Sharks are some of the most dangerous and deadly creatures found in the seas and oceans. It seems that evolution created these predatory fish as ideal predators, and their main purpose is to brutally massacre other sea creatures. They are distinguished not only by their high speed, sharp teeth, and astounding sense of smell, but also sometimes simply by their enormous size. It is hard to imagine that once upon a time a shark that exceeded the size of any modern species reigned in the Earth's oceans. A few times we are talking about the Megalodon. Today, we will tell you how the most terrible of all sharks lived and why it became extinct. Support this video with likes. Until 1667, the teeth of ancient sharks, which were found in different parts of Europe, were mistaken for fossilized snake tongues or dragons, but they were not flattering. The scholar identified them as shark teeth. Among the teeth he described was the tooth of a creature that was later called a megalodon. The researcher even attempted to reconstruct the shape of your shark by a single tooth. He made an image of the monster's head. It became very popular. But the giant shark did not get its present name until nearly 200 years later. In 1835, Louis Agassiz assigned the Megalodon as a newly identified genus of the crustacean radon because of the similarity of its teeth to those of the great white shark. Like all sharks, the Megalodon had a cartilaginous structure, and only its huge teeth and vertebrae have survived to this day. By comparing these parts with the corresponding parts of modern sharks, scientists have tried to reconstruct its approximate size. According to various estimates, this giant may have reached a length of 17 to 20 m. Estimates of its weight range from 12 to 50 tons. The largest tooth known to science is about 19 centimeters long. It was found in Peru, and the second largest tooth in South Carolina in the United States. In general, the remains of a megalodon are found practically all over the world, from Australia to Northern Europe, and from Japan to Italy. This suggests that the range of these creatures occupied most of the globe. Most likely they dominated the seas and oceans for many millions of years and did not fear any competitors. They are thought to have appeared in the early Miocene about 28 million years ago and to have died out in the Pliocene period, which ended about 2.5 million years ago. It used to be thought that the reason for the disappearance of such a large creature was climate change and changes in the topography of the ocean floor, which influenced a decrease in water temperature in certain parts of it. But in recent years, there are growing opinions that the Megalodon either could not withstand competition with more adapted species, or there was not enough food in the ocean for the greatly increased population of these animals. And if everything is more or less clear with climatic changes, then other versions of the extinction of the giant shark should be dealt with in more detail. Abrupt changes in the planet's climate have long explained the extinction of many prehistoric animals, but during the Miocene period, the planet's climate changed several times. At the same time, the population of the Megalodon continued to grow. Perhaps those who argue in favor of other theories of Megalodon extinction are right in some respects. To assess the possibility of extinction of the Megalodon due to reasons independent of the climate, it is necessary to understand the way of life of this shark. Animal behavior is largely influenced by its size for over 100 years. Scientists are trying to reliably reconstruct the size and appearance of the Megalodon. Based on this, it will be possible to compare its behavior with the way of life of modern sharks. The first attempts to reconstruct the appearance of the Megalodon on the basis of available scientific remains were made in the early 20th century. As new data became available, and with the development of technology, the estimated size of the Megalodon kept increasing. It is now believed that the maximum size of an adult Megalodon could be 12 meters. The mass of such a predator may well have exceeded 45 tons. It is doubtful that with such a giant size, Megalodon was able to develop great speed in pursuit of prey, so it is likely that the predator used the ambush method. There are two opinions as to how it was able to successfully hunt. One method may have been effective in attacking smaller cetaceans. The shark could simply ram its prey, breaking its bones. After such an attack, the prey stopped resisting and the predator could easily tear it apart and eat it. Two methods could be used to attack larger marine life in order to completely immobilize the victim. The shark could first bite off its fins or tear off pieces of flesh. Having lost the ability to move, large whales became easy prey for the monster shark. If we compare the Megalodon to the sharks that inhabit today's seas and oceans, its lifespan was probably about 40 years, although a polar shark can live up to 100 years. But the Megalodon lived in warmer waters. The main habitat of this ancient predator was in the tropical and subtropical belts, so the maximum lifespan of 40 years is more likely at such a giant size to eat everything it could get to. Most likely, the basis of its diet was large fish and cetaceans. The strength of its bite, according to recent estimates, was more powerful than the bite strength of modern crocodiles by about 3 times. But because of its relatively short jaws, the shark could not swallow its prey completely to eat its prey. Previously had to tear into pieces, this powerful predator was feared only large-toothed whales or Theophane Melville. But at the end of the existence of the Megalodon revolution gave birth to a new universal predator killer whale. These cetaceans were significantly inferior to Megalodon in size, but superior to them in speed and mobility. In addition, orcas live and hunt in packs. It is believed that they caused the disappearance of the Megalodon. This hypothesis is quite controversial. Only competition with whales, killer whales, or the disappearance of the food base could not have caused such consequences. Other examples from the evolution of life on Earth show that larger animals always win in the competition for a place under the sun. The extinction of predators for lack of food must be preceded by the gradual disappearance of all the species they could feed on. And many of the victims of the Megalodon exist and thrive. To this day, it means that the reason for the disappearance of the largest shark in the history of the planet lies in something else. If all the Megalodons stopped catching their prey because of the appearance of killer whales, their population could have been greatly reduced. It can be assumed that these giant sharks began to attack their smaller and weaker congeners, but the natural mechanisms are arranged in such a way that it is unable to lead to the complete extinction of the species, but to become an addition to the climatic factor. These processes may well be approximately the same fate in its time befell the mammoths and other large ungulates of the Ice Age. Changing living conditions led to a decrease in the population, and more adapted predators completed the process of their extinction. It is true that on the internet there are increasingly heard statements that the Megalodon exists to this day are stories about boats and ships destroyed by an unknown monster, in the plating of which huge teeth are stuck. Proponents of this as yet unconfirmed theory say that in search of more comfortable conditions. Habitation, this super predator decided to move to greater depths, where orcas, which breathe atmospheric air, cannot reach, and perhaps soon we will be able to see a living Megalodon, which decides to triumphantly return to the water surface to become again the most formidable marine predator.